Good day everyone, my name is Navneet Anand from aajKal, local and global. Have been there in the field of media and marketing for a number of years, but today we thought why not we get somebody who is specialized in this field. So get to know more of the insights of the game. We have Satya Upadhyaya. Satya ji, welcome to the show.
Navneet ji, thank you very much. It's a pleasure talking to you today this morning.
You know, being the campaign in charge with Citibank as a vice president, what a wonderful job. How much you enjoy it?
Navneet ji, campaign is such a thing and marketing has really evolved a lot. So I'll just take a frame. मैं सबसे बताता रहता हूँ कि जब हमने और आपने marketing की पढ़ाई की होगी तो marketing was more about brand, it was more about media in terms of paper, print, television. Now marketing has really changed. It has become more personalized. It has become more data driven and being more analytical. So it is not about randomly किसी को target करना. It's very sophisticated, very precise. Know me, reach me, and deliver that experience. So data or technology का बहुत ज़्यादा use हो गया. So that is the fundamental shift that we have seen in the domain of marketing. कि technology and data have really started playing a big role. And as we move into 2022 and beyond, artificial intelligence, machine learning, virtual reality, augmented reality, beacons, ये सारों का बहुत ज़्यादा रोल होगा. और immersive experience, जो हम लोग बात करते हैं experiences जो होटल में या रेस्टोरेंट में आदमी को मिलता है, very personalized. वो experience as a customer you want, whether you go to your bank, whether you go to your insurance company, whether you go to your telco, anyway, any vertical, that is what people are basically looking for. Or if you look at companies that are evolving, for example, Netflix, Uber, Amazon, and they are the real disruptors. They are challenging the way marketing is currently being done, and they are basically on the forefront of telling organization what you should be doing. So the biggest shift आया हुआ है, when you look at even early 19s में, and 1950, 1960, it was all about product. It was all about production. It was all about distribution. Now it's all about the customer. पहले महात्मा गांधी ने भी एक बार कहा था कि customer is the king. So he was a visionary, the father of our nation at that point in time. But it has taken a long time for people to realize really customer is the king, and you are there as a business to support the customer in all respect.
Tell me something about your growing years.
So I came from Lucknow in 2000, 2001. I came here as a student just to get some more experience, and उस समय India was just opening up, so job opportunities were not that big, तो मैंने कहा चलो बाहर पढ़ने जाते हैं. But I had one thing very clear in mind, that I wanted to have that education and then really get into that corporate experience. So lucky of God, भगवान की कृपा थी, when I came into the country, in 8 days I got a job with a market research company by the name of AC Nelson. तो मैं वहाँ पे लग गया, and I started working, and then there was no looking back. I did my GDIT, फिर
graduate diploma in
IT, वो MIT करना था, but मुझे लगा कि नौकरी तो मिली गई है, तो why not stabilize myself. Then फिर यहाँ जैसे होता है कि do you have the Australian experience? No. So we had to basically rub my shoes for a couple of years to get that experience, and then I finally got into HSBC in 2004. और वहाँ से they sponsored me to do a master's in marketing from University of New South Wales. So I was a corporate sponsored candidate to do that. और फिर वहाँ से life started,
Never looked back.
Not never looked back, but it always looked forward. And I had a great mentor at HSBC who really could drive me. और कहने में इतना अच्छा लगता है कि when you have visionaries as your mentors, वो मुझे ऐसी चीजें बताता था. मैं 2004 की बात बता रहा हूँ. Now we are sitting in 2021. कि सत्या कहता था कि what I'm telling you, not many people will understand it, but 10 years ago or 10 years later, when you talk about all of this, people will really appreciate. तो ये जो मैं आपको opening में बताया ना, data driven और technology, ये सब मुझे 2004, 2005 में मुझे बताना शुरू किया गया था. You can see, कहते हैं ना कि it takes a long time to evolve, but evolution is a gradual process. So nothing happens overnight. So that's where my journey started from.
Satya, you are a multi-talented, possesses a significant leadership experience, strategic operations, sales and marketing, digital technology, and much more. How do you handle all this pressure?
It's not about pressure, it's about passion. So, you have to take out time for what you do. So, जैसे मुझे कभी भी लगता है कि I've got a 9 to 5 job, then I've also got a 5 to 9 job. So, मेरा 9 to 5 job है, that's my day job, मैं जो city में करता हूँ. But my 9 to 5 job is then what I'm passionate about. So I go and I attend a lot of these conferences, and I have to prepare and give my conference speeches, and I write papers. I've been on the advisory board of few organizations. So really looking at the holistic way of looking. मैं भी एक इंडिया में एक यूनिवर्सिटी है, उसमें एडवाइजरी बोर्ड में हूँ, where they are looking at what is the new curriculum that we need to have for marketing and marketing technology. So I rub shoulders with deans and vice chancellors of leading universities in India and talking to them. So understanding कि इस generation में what students want, what teachers want, what faculty wants, and how to deliver it. So you have to be constantly on your toes. You know, to be always reading, always talking to people. जैसे आपसे बात हो रही है, learning from your experiences and then basically adapting them into real life situations.
Coming from Lucknow in 2001, tell us something about your childhood days as well.
Okay, that's a बड़ा अच्छा सवाल है, बड़ा डिफिकल्ट सवाल है. गोइंग बैक कितना पीछे जाऊं, तो मैं एक बोर्डिंग स्कूल में पढ़ा हूँ. तो 1984 में सेंट जोसेफ नैनीताल, तो नैनीताल एंड देहरादून एंड मसूरी में इंडिया के उस समय, और एक साउथ में हुआ करता था कोडाईकनाल या ऊटी में बोर्डिंग स्कूल केवल वहीं पे होता है. तो आई स्टडीड इनटू अ बोर्डिंग स्कूल फॉर अबाउट 5 years. So even if you look at my accent, some people sometimes comment that your accent is a bit different, is not the very typical Indian accent. So we were in that Irish school, so we were pretty much brought and bred more in the English way of living at that childhood stage. And one of the reasons why I went into a boarding school, my father had a government job, so he was basically moving around pretty much into cities. So education, he said, my father was very, very passionate about education, and I'm very proud to say that my father he's retired as a civil servant in India. So उनका philosophy था, must get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. अब कितनी बार हम उठे, that is a different question, but his idea was must get up at 4. So I've built that culture of how to be a great citizen. I think my father taught me at a very early stage in my life.
Who has been your inspiration?
My inspiration actually, if my personal life has been my father, I've actually imbibed a lot of things from my father. Or professional life, which जैसे मैंने बताया, when I was in HSBC, I had a mentor. His name was Steve Nichols. He was the head of CRM, and he actually inspired me to look at this visionary of what this future of marketing is going to be, and that's how I'm looking at.
Both of these gentlemen definitely are feeling proud that they mentored the right person, and I really feel good and say thank you, Anurag Sharma. आपकी वजह से आज हमें साथ में बैठने का मौका मिला.
Sir, it's my pleasure.
What has been the most motivating factor in your life?
एक चीज जो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट मुझे नजर आई कि when we come as migrant, we really struggle in this country, and it's not that we are not highly educated, but maybe हमारा communication skills उतना well developed and defined नहीं है as compared to Western peers. So one of my motivation was that if I meet my people in my community, how can I actually coach them and guide them to really be good orators, communicate effectively and effortlessly, bring their message out. And the other thing that what I felt is that sometimes हमारा culture है ना कि हम झुक के रहते हैं. That is not our weakness, that is our strength. We should be able to have conflicting conversation in a very positive way and be able to have a seat on the table and drive conversations.
Agree to disagree, disagree to agree.
Agree. Yeah, it's okay to disagree.
Yes.
But you should not be fearful and disagree. It takes a lot of courage. So that is my motivation factor when I go to the community and I want to talk to people, how to be fearless, how to think outside the box, how to really present yourself, minus the emotions, put the facts on the table and drive the conversation.
Describe the most challenging time in your life.
There are two actually. So one I will tell you when I was, things were at peak and things when were at bottom. So let me start when things were at peak. So मैं Accenture में काम करता था. I was in a consulting firm. Then I was picked up for another consulting firm to do a bit of work. I was doing quite well. My wife was doing, she was also into a job. Then at a point in time in my life, she said, I've done 10 years of my life, I want to take a bit of a break. And I said, yeah, I think financially we are quite good, so we can take a bit of a break. उसी समय क्या हुआ कि my wife finished off a job after 10 years, और मुझे 2 दिन क्रिसमस से पहले बताया गया कि I don't have a job. क्योंकि the client went off and I didn't really have a job. So मेरे life में एक slump आ गया and I just didn't know what to do. And in Australia, Christmas के time पे अगर आपके पास job नहीं है तो it takes a long time to come back. So I had a bit of financial difficulties at that point in time as well. Not I had a big mortgage. 2 बड़े घर थे, उनका mortgage pay करना था. लड़का high school में जा रहा था. There was no income coming into the house. So how to support myself? Then I really realized कि I need to have a plan B. and everyone needs to have a plan B in life, and what that means is a passive income. So it's not about कि real estate में invest कर दिया तो वहाँ से कुछ पैसा. I said what is my passion and what do I have to offer. So वही मैंने कहा ना, ज्ञान है मेरे पास. So I started utilizing my own brain power to basically cultivate a culture of knowledge. And can I do some consulting on the part-time on the side to basically drive that passion of mine. So that's how I started doing it. So I started doing public speaking. I got अभी तक मैंने शायद 12 इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंसेस किए हैं जहाँ I've spoken, whether it's in the UK, in the US, in Korea में भी हाल ही में किया था IDG के साथ. ऑस्ट्रेलिया में मैंने भी 1 महीने पहले हंटर वैली में किया. But I've done about 12 of them. I've been sitting on a board for about 3 organizations now, and I do consulting with a few CMOs and driving that. So ये मेरा, that's my learning. What I can tell the viewers that you always have to have a plan B, and your plan B should always be how do you, if something goes wrong in life, what's your plan B to get yourself back in life? And it can take you 6 months to 12 months to really get back in life.
जैसे अभी आपने कहा plan B, I normally say यार बैकअप का भी बैकअप लेना चाहिए.
You should have plan A, plan B और plan C भी होना चाहिए.
बैकअप का भी बैकअप होना चाहिए.
Exactly.
Learning is one curve that gets into your life, but execution of the same learning is more important.
Oh, absolutely. So उसमें देखो, if I describe it, the brilliance is not in the strategy. The brilliance is in the execution. Strategy हर आदमी बना लेता है. What is from North Star का vision, आप corporate world में देखो, everyone is saying that I want to look at that North Star. But what is that North Star? And how to get to that North Star from a people, process, data, technology and system, and put it as a phased roadmap की phase 1 में हम ये करेंगे, phase 2 में ये करेंगे, phase 3 में ये करेंगे. आजकल एक agile का word आया हुआ है, minimum viable product. What does that look like? How are you going to shape that? बहुत लोगों से आप पूछोगे ना तो हवा में बहुत ज्यादा बातें कर लेंगे. But okay, put me on a plan on a page, show me how the execution is going to happen and walk it through. बहुत कम लोग कर पाते हैं.
Normally what I say is बंदा आके मुझे बोलता है मुझे ये चाहिए. I said you should be satisfied with picking up the option which is the best out of the options that are available.
Exactly. So बड़ा एक अच्छा आपने पॉइंट रेज किया. मेरा एक फ्रेंड था, वो मुझे I also do a bit of career coaching to understand. तो हम लोग उसको बात करते हैं. तो उसमें क्या है कि आउटकम जो है ना, आउटकम को पाने के लिए देयर कैन बी मल्टीपल सॉल्यूशंस. जैसे आपने कहा ना, यू कैन हैव, तो आउटकम मुझे पता है, मुझे ये आउटकम चाहिए. उसको आउटकम के लिए आई हैव सोल्यूशन ए, सोल्यूशन बी, सोल्यूशन बी, सोल्यूशन सी. नाउ सोल्यूशन ए माइट बी वाइबल बट उसमें पैसा ज्यादा लगेगा. सोल्यूशन बी माइट बी वाइबल बट उसमें टाइम ज्यादा लगेगा. सोल्यूशन 3 माइट बी वाइबल पर उसमें पैसा भी ज्यादा लगेगा, टाइम भी ज्यादा लगेगा, रिसोर्सेज भी ज्यादा लगेंगे, बट दैट इज गोइंग टू बी द बेस्ट आउटकम. तो फिर आप देखोगे कि भी मेरे पास टाइम कितना है, मेरे पास पैसे कितने हैं, मेरे पास लोग कितने हैं उसको डिलीवर करने के लिए. ऑप्शन मेरे पास 3 हैं, ये सोल्यूशन मुझे, आउटकम ये मुझे चाहिए. सो दैट इज द माइंड फ्रेम. वी हैव टू लुक
pick up the best out of the options that are available.
Or maybe for the short term this is the best option that I've got, but for the long term we have to work on the other option and work it through. And I think ये जो fundamental change है ना, ये आता है passionate leadership से. And where you have the ability, आदमी जब शेर जब दहाड़ता है ना, जैसे कहते हैं जंगल में शेर, what do you mean by, people don't understand. I'm a big fan of mythology, अपने कल्चर के बारे में, तो मैं बहुत सारे analogies वहां से लेता हूँ. भगवान है, वो शक्ति है. What does that mean? कि you will have complexities around you, but how do you navigate yourself out of those complexities to get to your desired goals? भगवान वही रास्ता, वो कहते हैं रास्ता दिखाना. तो लीडर का काम वही है. And when you fail, okay, control, be calm, be patient, किसी पे blame नहीं करना, take charge of yourself, take responsibility on your own, and then drive it. That is what is required.
What is something that need to know about yourself that would surprise everybody?
Okay, so ये आपने अच्छा एक सवाल पूछा कि leadership, और I decide myself someone who's very passionate and a very passionate leader. और मेरा जो framework है passionate leadership का और leading teams और managing people and getting things around, तो 3 word में है. I'm a practitioner, I'm a collaborator and I'm a problem solver. And I'll explain that in a bit, क्योंकि हो सकता है कि थोड़ा technical लग रहा हो. तो practitioner का मतलब क्या है कि I have moved from academia into practical. तो I understand कि theoretical concept को production में कैसे ला सकते हैं. And I'm a collaborator का मतलब क्या है कि I work with businesses to understand what is the business problem that we're looking at solving. और problem solver का मतलब ये है कि I look at the gaps, उनके में gap क्या है और उनको gaps को कैसे fill कर सकते हैं. Now, when you have that understanding of that framework, then and how do you actually execute? The brilliance is not in the strategy, but the brilliance is in the execution. So execution में for passionate leadership का मतलब क्या है कि I should be available for my team. And what that means is कि कभी भी कोई problem होती है, the team should be able to contact me. That is number one. दूसरी बात क्या है कि team does not have a direction. The leader has to provide that direction. तो जो initial steps हैं, जो इनिशियल गाइडेंस है, जो इनिशियल नो हाउ है, वॉक थ्रू करना है, होल्ड हैंड करना है, वो एक लीडर को करना होता है. यू जस्ट कांट थ्रो द टीम. अगर सेना लड़ने जा रही है तो जनरल जो है सीधे नहीं कहता जाके लड़ाओ, वो एक ब्रीफिंग लेता है. आर्मी में एक रूल है कि दे हैव अ ब्रीफिंग सेशन, एंड दैट ब्रीफिंग कुड बी फॉर 3 hours, कैन बी फॉर 6 hours, कुड बी फॉर अ डे. यू स्ट्रेटेजाइज द प्लान एज टू व्हाट यू गोना डू, बिकॉज दैट्स हाउ इट्स गोना बी एग्जीक्यूटेड. सो planning is very, very important.
Concluding this conversation, what would be your advice to our audiences where we have a lot of young entrepreneurs listening us at the moment? So what would be your advice for them to take an action in post-COVID era?
So, COVID has been very, very challenging. So I would describe, and this is not my quotation, I've learned it from my father, so, I've had a lot of inspirations from him. So paying respect to him, meet the difficulties, greet them, and finally defeat them.
Meet the difficulties, greet them, and finally defeat them. I would add this in my life once again.
Thank you.
जी हाँ, आज हमने सत्य उपाध्याय से की बातचीत और मैं आपका नवनीत. We would like to have you more and more on our shows to give motivation to the younger generations. And
anytime, Navneet ji. It's been a pleasure. It's been really exciting to be talking to you this morning. I look forward to the following sessions as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Fiji Times. Be with the times. One-stop answer to your Australian education and visa matters. Gemco Sydney. Dream big, achieve big.